Luna's dream to be a space traveler. In a small town lived a cheerful girl named Luna. With her big brown eyes, she enchanted everyone by storm. Luna was a bright child, full of adventure and imagination. One night, Luna dreamed an unbelievably amazing dream. She dreamed of being an astronaut traveling to alien galaxies. In her dream, she was sitting in a spaceship surrounded by flashing lights and displays. She saw stars and planets in all the colors of the rainbow passing by her. Suddenly, her spaceship landed on a pink planet. The planet was made of cotton candy and full of funny inhabitants called Pizuwa. The Pizuwa were small, round creatures with big eyes and long arms. They had funny voices and jumped around happily. Luna quickly became friends with the Pizuwa. They played together, laughed and danced. The Pizuwa showed Luna their planet and all the wonders it hid. They jumped through the cotton candy clouds, slid down the glittering slides, and bathed in a lake of chocolate. Luna also learned the Pizuwa language, and was soon able to converse with them. She learned that the Pizuwa were a peaceful people, who lived in harmony with nature. They had no technology and knew no wars. Luna was fascinated by the Pizuwa way of life. She learned a lot from them, about the simplicity of life and the importance of friendship and solidarity. After a few days on the pink planet, it was time for Luna to say goodbye. She was sad to leave her new friends, but she knew she would never forget them. The Pizuwa took Luna to their spaceship and said goodbye with a song. Luna waved at them for a long time, until they disappeared into space. When Luna woke up, she was full of joy and gratitude. She had experienced an incredible dream that would change her life. From that day on, Luna dreamed of new adventures in space every night. She dreamed of discovering new planets, making new friends, and unraveling the mysteries of the universe. Luna knew that one day, she would make her dream a reality. She would become an astronaut and travel to the stars. The next morning, Luna told her parents and siblings all about her dream. Her family was amazed by Luna's adventure and her imagination. "Wow, Luna, that was an unbelievable dream," said her mother. "I'm so proud of you." "Yes, and I love that you're so brave in chasing your dreams," her father said. Luna's siblings were also excited about her dream. They were eager to learn more about the Pizuwa and the pink planet. Luna told them everything she could remember. She described to them the Pizuwa, the cotton candy clouds and the chocolate lake. Her siblings listened wide-eyed and couldn't wait to experience such adventures themselves. From that day on, Luna was determined to make her dream come true. She studied diligently at school and trained as an astronaut. Many years later, the time had finally come. Luna was aboard a spaceship, ready to fly to the stars. She thought of her dream of the pink planet and the Pizuwa. She knew she would see them again one day. Luna flew to many different planets and had many adventures. She met new friends and learned a lot about the universe. One day, Luna discovered a new planet. It was pink and made of cotton candy. Luna knew immediately that it was the planet of the Pizuwa. Luna landed on the planet and was welcomed with open arms by the Pizuwa. They had never forgotten her. Luna and the Pizuwa had a big reunion. They played together, laughed and danced. Luna knew she had found her place in the universe. End. Do you want to listen to great stories from the world of the Storybot? If you found this video interesting, we would be happy about your thumbs up, click or a share of the video. Subscribe to this channel.
Finn, the King of the Way Home. In a small village on the edge of a forest lived a cheerful boy named Finn. With his bright blue eyes and infectious laugh, he took everyone's hearts by storm. Finn was a bright child, full of adventure and curiosity. Today was a very special day for Finn. For the first time, he was allowed to make his way home from kindergarten on his own. His parents, a little worried but full of pride, waved goodbye to him. Finn marched off, his nose in the wind and the sun on his face. He whistled a merry song and hopped happily along the dirt roads. Suddenly, he saw a small chicken house on the side of the road. Curious, he peered inside and spotted a flock of clucking chickens inside. "Hello, you pretty ones," shouted Finn, greeting the animals. "Are you hungry?" Finn rummaged through his backpack and found some breadcrumbs, which he generously threw to the chickens. The chickens hungrily picked up the crumbs and thanked them with a cheerful cluck. We continued through the forest, where Finn discovered colorful flowers along the way. He plucked the most beautiful flowers and tied them together to form a magnificent bouquet. "I'll give it to Mommy," he thought happily. When Finn finally got home, he was beaming all over his face. His parents were overjoyed to see him safe. "What have you experienced?" they asked excitedly. Finn proudly talked about the chickens, the flowers, and his adventures in the forest. His parents were amazed at his courage and thirst for adventure. From that day on, Finn was the proud way home king. He proved to his parents and everyone else that he was a big and independent child. Finn and his adventures quickly became known in the village. The children admired his courage and wanted to do the same. So the way home from kindergarten became a little adventure for all the children in the village. And Finn? He proudly carried his bouquet of flowers into the kitchen and gave it to his mom. "Thank you, my darling," she said, hugging him tightly. "You gave me the best day of my life." This was the end of Finn's first walk home from kindergarten, full of adventure, joy, and love. Final. Do you still want great stories from the world of the Storybot? You found this video interesting? Then we are happy about your thumbs up, click or share the video. Subscribe to this channel. The Unicorn Fairy Dust. In a distant, fairytale land, where the air smelled of lilies and rose petals and the sun danced through the dense leaves of the ancient trees, once lived a unicorn called Fairy Dust. Unlike its conspecifics, which roamed the forests with snow-white horns and gray hooves, Fairy Dust was something very special. His horns shone in all the colors of the rainbow, a dazzling spectacle that lured even the most elusive animals out of their hiding places. And his hooves? They weren't just gray, but shone in a cheerful pink that covered the forest floor with a bright carpet. Fairy Dust was a cheerful and playful unicorn. It loved to jump through the fragrant meadows, dance in the sunlight, and play tag with the squirrels that nimbly climbed on its colorful horn. Deer leaped through his pink hooves, and the birds sang songs in his silky fur. Fairy Dust was a welcome guest throughout the forest, for his laugh and cheerful nature made even the most grumpy bear smile. One day, as Fairy Dust was grazing at the edge of the forest, a little girl spotted it. The girl sat on a tree stump and wept bitterly. Fairy Dust, curious as it was, approached cautiously and gently nudged the girl on the shoulder with his horn. "What happened?" asked Fairy Dust in his soft voice that whispered through the trees like a gentle breeze. "I'm lost," the girl sobbed. "I wanted to pick flowers, but now I can't find my way back home." Fairy Dust nodded in understanding. "Don't worry, I'll help you," it said, stretching out its magic horn. When it touched the girl's forehead, a warm, golden light emanated, melting the girl's worries and fears like snow in the sun. With a smile on her face and new confidence in her heart, the girl followed Fairy Dust through the dense forest. Fairy Dust led the way. Its glowing horn drew the girl's attention to the beauty of nature. The colorful splendor of the flowers, the gentle rustling of the leaves and the chirping of the birds, all that the girl had previously overlooked in her grief, she now perceived with astonished eyes. Time flew by, and soon they reached the edge of the forest. The girl's house was only a few steps away. "Thank you, Fairy Dust," the girl said, hugging the unicorn with her soft arms. "You helped me so much." Fairy Dust nudged the girl's nose with his horn. "You're welcome," it said. "Never forget that you have the strength within yourself to overcome all challenges. Trust in your inner strength and follow your heart." The girl smiled and waved goodbye to Fairy Dust. Then he went to his house, happy and full of new confidence. Fairy Dust, however, returned to the forest to continue his happy life of magic and adventure. And whenever he saw a child in need, he was there to help him with his glowing horn and pink hooves. Final. Do you still want great stories from the world of the Storybot? You found this video interesting, then we are happy about your thumbs up, click or share the video. Subscribe to this channel. Marie and a little robot are too. A cheerful girl named Marie was looking forward to her 10th birthday. She wanted a robot more than anything else. Her parents, Anna and Peter, who loved Marie more than anything, were determined to make her wish come true. After a long search, they came across a small, rusty robot named R2 gathering dust in an antique shop. The shopkeeper, an old man with kind eyes, told them that R2 was once a state-of-the-art robot, but had fallen out of favor because he had shown too much initiative. He's an oddball, the man said, but he's got a good heart. Marie's parents were skeptical, but Marie was immediately hooked on R2. She saw him not just as a robot, but as a friend. With unbridled patience and loving care, she took on R2. She showed him the world, explained everything to him with angelic patience, and helped him improve his skills. At first, R2 was a bit weird and awkward. His movements were jerky, his speech sounded tinny, and he often tripped over his own feet. But with Marie's help, he learned quickly. His movements became more fluid, his speech sounded more and more natural, and his vocabulary grew rapidly. R2 developed not only his skills, but also his personality. He became friendly and humorous. His dry comments and mischievous smile often made Marie laugh. R2 was not only a friend, but also a protector. He watched over Marie, helped her with her homework, and was always a patient listener. Marie, on the other hand, taught R2 all about love, friendship, and the beauty of the world. She showed him the colors of the sunset, the scent of flowers, and the song of birds. R2, who had never seen the world with his own eyes before, was fascinated. He learned to feel and think, and his artificial intelligence became a true sentience. One day, while Marie and R2 were walking in the woods, they came across a group of children bullying a little boy. Marie, who was brave and just, could not stand by and watch this. She stood up to the children and protected the little boy. R2 supported them by yelling so loudly that the children were frightened and ran away. The little boy, whose name was Finn, was very grateful to Marie and R2. They quickly became friends and had many more adventures together. They built fantastic worlds out of building blocks, played hide-and-seek in the forest and laughed late into the night, so Marie and R2 not only helped each other, but also others. They learned from each other and surpassed themselves. Marie learned that you can achieve a lot with courage and kindness. R2, on the other hand, learned what it means to experience love and friendship. At the end of each day, as the sun sank below the horizon, Marie and R2 snuggled up together on Marie's bed. They told each other stories, laughed and dreamed of new adventures. In those moments, they both felt that their friendship was very special. Final. Do you still want great stories from the world of the Storybot? You found this video interesting, then we are happy about your thumbs up, click or share the video. Subscribe to this channel. Moritz, the pirate. In a cozy children's room full of colorful pillows and toys lived a cheerful child named Moritz. On this sunny day, Moritz sat on his fluffy carpet and played with his beloved pirate ship. The ship, the Silver Seagull, was carved from wood and had 3 sails fluttering in the wind. On board were small pirate figures with sabers, hooks, and eye patches. Moritz loved to make up stories about the adventures of pirates. Today he imagined himself to be the captain of the Silver Gull. He hoisted the sails, and the ship set sail. The sun was shining on the sea, and the waves gently rocked the herring gull, back and forth. Moritz stood at the wheel and peered into the distance with his telescope. Suddenly, he spotted another ship on the horizon. It was a large merchant ship, loaded with gold and precious stones. "Ahoy, pirates!" cried Moritz, reaching for his saber. "Get on board and bring the loot to us." The pirates rejoiced and boarded the merchant ship. The brave pirates fought against the ship's guards and defeated them. Moritz himself fought bravely with his saber and defeated the captain of the merchant ship. After the pirates had brought the loot aboard the Silver Seagull, they sailed away. They laughed and sang songs as they headed for the next island. Moritz was happy and content. He had experienced another adventure as a pirate and increased his treasure. As the sun went down, the Silver Gull returned to its port. Moritz was tired, but happy. He had had a wonderful day full of adventures. He tidied up his toys and went to bed. In his dreams, he sailed across the seas with the Silver Seagull and experienced new adventures. Moritz dreamed of finding a treasure on a deserted island to share with his friends. He dreamed of fighting evil pirates and protecting the innocent. He dreamed of seeing the world and learning about new cultures. Moritz knew that one day he would experience all these adventures. Because he was a cheerful and open-minded child who always followed his dreams. Moritz also dreamed of one day founding his own crew of pirates. He would choose only the best and bravest pirates who would follow him on his adventures. Together, they would conquer the world's oceans and search for the legendary treasures. Moritz knew that all these dreams existed only in his imagination. But he loved to make up these stories. They gave him strength and courage to master his everyday life. And who knows, maybe one day his dreams would come true. When Moritz woke up the next morning, he was full of new energy. He couldn't wait to continue his adventures as a pirate. He ran to the window and looked out at the sea. In the distance, he could see the Silver Gull sailing on the horizon. He knew that new adventures awaited him there. Final. Do you still want great stories from the world of the Storybot? You found this video interesting? Then we are happy about your thumbs up, click or share the video. Subscribe to this channel. The herd of brave wild horses. In the middle of the vast steppe, where the wind swept through the tall grass and the sun shone golden on the sandy hills, lived a group of wild horses. Led by the proud stallion Atakan, with his fiery chestnut coat, and the gentle mare Nala, whose white tail danced in the wind, the herd grazed peacefully and freely. Young foals, like the playful Finn with his fluffy legs, and the curious Luna with her big brown eyes, jumped around and chased each other through the landscape. The elders of the herd, the wise Elias with his thick, gray fur, and the experienced Mara with her deep wrinkles around her eyes, told stories of times gone by and taught the young horses the important rules of living together. One morning, as the first rays of sunlight bathed the steppe in golden light, Atakan noticed a group of people in the distance. They carried strange tools and led horses with colorful saddles and bridles on ropes. Curious and at the same time worried, the herd watched the new arrivals. Atakan, his nostrils quivering and his muscles tense, gathered the other horses and decided to protect them. "We have to stick together," he said firmly. "These people could put us in danger." The herd galloped away, their hooves drumming on the sandy ground. Humans tried to follow them, but the wild horses were too fast and skilled. They leaped over streams and rivers that wound through the steppe like glittering ribbons, climbed over rocks that lined the landscape like sentinels, and hunted through dense forests, their leaves rustling in the sunlight. After a long day of flight, with the sun sinking below the horizon and the first stars twinkling in the sky, the herd reached a secluded valley surrounded by high mountains that stretched their peaks majestically into the sky. Here they felt safe and secure. In the evening sun, which bathed the steppe in a golden light, they grazed peacefully together, enjoying the freedom that the steppe offered them. From that day on, the wild horses lived more cautiously. They were on the lookout for the people and avoided their territories. But they never forgot the freedom that the steppe offered them and the strength they possessed as a herd. The memory of the escape and the stories of the elders shaped the cohesion of the herd and taught the young horses to understand the dangers of the world. So the wild horses lived happily and contentedly in the vast steppe, free and wild, as was their nature. Atakan and Nala led the herd with wisdom and love, and the young foals grew up to one day take responsibility for the community themselves. In the endless expanses of the steppe, where the wind sang the songs of freedom, the story of wild horses would live on forever. Final. Do you still want great stories from the world of the Storybot? You found this video interesting, then we are happy about your thumbs up, click or share the video. Subscribe to this channel. Anton's first day at kindergarten. In a small kindergarten, which was cheerful and colorful, there was a crowd of children who laughed and played exuberantly. In the middle of it all was Anton, a lively boy with reddish-blonde curls and a mischievous grin. The day started with a delicious breakfast. Anton smeared his bread with jam so thickly that it almost slipped off his plate. Today is going to be an adventure day, he shouted and ran into the garden with his friends. In the sandbox, they dug a huge castle, dug deep tunnels, and built a treasure chamber. Anton, the pirate captain, commanded his crew and defended the castle against imaginary enemies. Grains of sand flew through the air, and there was a lot of giggling and bluster. Later, the children gathered in a circle to sing and paint. Anton sang as loud as he could, and his image of a colorful dragon with glittering scales was the most beautiful of all. For lunch, we had spaghetti with tomato sauce. Anton smacked happily and spilled some sauce on his t-shirt. Never mind, said the kindergarten teacher, smiling. Today is stain day. After lunch it was time to rest. Anton snuggled up on his pillow and dreamed of pirate ships and hidden treasures. When he woke up, it was time to play in the garden. This time, the children built a big bouncy boat. Anton jumped as high as he could and laughed so loudly that he could be heard throughout the kindergarten. At the end of the day there was a story. Anton sat on the lap of the governess and listened intently to the adventures of a little bear. When it was time to go home, Anton was tired, but happy. He had had a great day in kindergarten and couldn't tell his parents everything anymore. When he got home, he fell into his bed, exhausted. "What did you do today?" his mother asked. Anton beamed and said, "Oh Mom, everything was just great in kindergarten today. Adventure, pirates, spaghetti, and hopping, it was the best day ever." So Anton fell asleep happily and dreamed of his friends, the sandcastle, the colorful dragon, and all the other adventures he had experienced in kindergarten. On this day in kindergarten, however, there was something special. Anton had his first day at kindergarten. He was a little excited, but also very curious. When he came to kindergarten with his mother in the morning, he saw many other children playing with their parents. Anton was a bit shy and didn't dare to play with the other children at first. But the kindergarten teacher was very nice and helped him settle in quickly. She showed him the kindergarten and explained to him what there was to discover there. Anton was fascinated by the many toys and the colorful pictures on the walls. He quickly found friends to play with. Together, they built a castle out of building blocks, painted pictures, and played in the garden. Anton was having so much fun that he didn't even notice how fast the time passed. When it was time to go home, Anton was sad. He wanted to stay in kindergarten much longer. But he knew he would come back the next day. On the way home, he told his mother everything he had experienced in kindergarten. He was so excited that he couldn't wait to come back the next day. Final. Do you still want great stories from the world of the Storybot? You found this video interesting, then we are happy about your thumbs up, click or share the video. Subscribe to this channel.